So a couple of weeks ago, I was scrolling Facebook Marketplace and I ran across this. It's a 2014 F250 Lariat Ultimate, completely torn apart in some guy's home garage. And as you can see, he got pretty far and kind of abandoned the project before he was able to really diagnose everything that was wrong. So we loaded up the 6-liter and we headed up and picked up this truck. Take a look at this F350 dually. This is the one that we picked up a couple weeks ago. We decided to go ahead and give you guys a quick little update on it. Get the stickers removed off of this thing. We were gonna keep them, but they were a little bit faded. We figure if put some new ones on there, if that's kind of the goal. And then this truck right here, since it was completely apart, well, I guess we should talk about it. It's 2014 Lariat Ultimate, 270,000 miles. The guy had it. It was his dad's truck, and he got it from him. It was having some issues, had like a weird misfire. So he pulled it in his garage and basically tore it all apart. Didn't do a compression test, didn't like replace an injector or anything like that. Basically got it to where you see it right here. The only thing he didn't do was actually pull the cab because he was just in like a 3-car garage. Yeah, engine mount bolts, like tranny bolts, torque converter bolts, everything was out of here. Yeah, it was pretty much ready. So we're gonna go ahead and do a compression test on it.
It doesn't have a thing for 6.7s, buddy.
You better.
It don't.
We'll figure it out. If we could do a compression test on this thing, then we can kind of see where we're at. And kind of depending on where the compression lands, this determines the fate of this truck on what we're gonna do, whether we're gonna part it out or keep it, right? Compression tested that side of the engine.
Beautiful.
250 PSI across it all. We already did this one, but we kind of forgot because they were so hit or miss. And then this back cylinder was kind of doing some weird stuff. So this, what was your guess on this one?
It's like 300, 2 something,
210,
and then poop.
And then this one did like, it went up to 100, and then it like stopped, and then we redid it, went up to like 100, then
almost
it went
200.
Almost 200, and then it just
stopped.
like it was
instantly,
like and it just like stopped, and then we did it again, and then it went up to like 100.
Yeah, lifter or something. Lifter, rocker, I don't know, something.
Something is like inconsistent with this back cylinder, and then we're gonna.
We can't hear the motor and the noise it's making if it is making a noise because Eric didn't put the torque converter nuts on all the way, so the torque converter is just slapping around in there. So there's that.
Yeah, that's
Not true.
That is true actually.
Hey, how many guys do you think it takes to do a compression test on a 6.7?
Usually 4, but we're shorter guys, so we'll make it do with 3.
Show them. We'll show them my adapter here in a minute. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Compression test. So
250.
Almost 250. Right?
Yeah, almost as fine. Hey.
Check out this adapter that we had to make too. This is Trevi's custom adapter. So we have the Harbor Freight kit, and they don't have one in here for a 6.7 Powerstroke. They sell it on Amazon. So we took the one that threaded close to the glow plug, and then we took a Duramax one because, you know, we're probably never going to work on Duramax here, right?
Why would we? They don't need work.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah, they're just
the million-mile engine, legendary million-mile
or
engine.
Everything you can get for that, buddy. We need help.
So, compression test adapter works. Ready? Almost 250. Show Eric.
Get that.
Get the confirmation.
Watch this thing make a liar out of us.
What if it just comes back? If they're all, what was this one?
250.
250. 250.
Yeah.
So now we're.
Those are all 250 too.
So 250 is the new number.
250 is the new black.
I think that this one is the. This one is the new thing. It's just so weird, like starting a project with somebody else's project that they didn't. Like we don't know where they went. All right, come get this bumping.
Because usually we'll start a project and we'll put it on a shelf for so long that's like we're starting all over again. Somebody else's project.
Really? What's your excuse?
You. Oh, this was the dinker one.
These two. It was the back one.
Both.
Two back ones are doing some weird stuff.
All right, 100 PSI.
There could be some weird rocker arm stuff going on too, because these.
As opposed to some not weird rocker stuff.
Yeah, I mean that would be my ideal situation because we have a couple motors laying around, so we got some parts we could.
Or a head gasket.
Yeah, mean, we could do a leak down.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we could.
Maybe we could do a leak down, and then we could.
We don't have an adapter for this, remember?
I'll weld another one.
Bob's your uncle.
Ready? You gotta show him this one. This one does some weird stuff too. I can't see my thing here. Did you see that bump though?
Right up.
Like it just went like, boom, and that was it.
Trying to think about why.
All of the other bumps do that same thing. They go like boom, 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 boom. And this one, it just went to 100 and then it just stopped. So like, it's weird that there's something.
Cracked piston.
I don't know, but it's weird that this one literally did 200 PSI before.
Cracked piston.
I mean, I don't know.
But sends it to the moon real quick and then it doesn't make no more.
Let's pull off this valve cover, intake manifold.
Where's your injector anchor?
And we'll go from there.
Okay.
All right, so first time we've ever seen this before, but got the valve cover off. Look at this. So one of the rockers.
Same rocker on every cylinder is off the valve.
Yeah.
And the push rod.
That.
I don't know. That doesn't make sense.
That doesn't really
I think
make
Buddy's
sense.
playing a trick.
Well, so look at that. This one came off right there. So that push rod's just chilling. This push rod is still in, and that probably actually actuates it a little bit. Can you rotate the engine by hand? And then this one, it might be, nope, that one's just hanging out right there.
How did that happen on all four of them, though?
Maybe he was out revving it, hitting the limiter. Unless like a lifter collapsed or something.
But all four.
But I mean, I have heard of stuff with rocker arms on, on 6.7s.
All four of them in the same bank?
Maybe.
On the same valve, on the same push rod? Like on the, I don't.
Maybe the camshaft is ready. All right,
That's
let's
what
see
I was
it.
thinking.
Oh.
Watch this. Hold on. Look. Is it moving? Mm-hmm. It's a shame that torque converter is making a lot of noise. It'd be nice if we could hear the other stuff.
Like it looks like the. I almost wonder if a lifter freaking turned sideways or
All
something
four.
in there. Well, because the lifter thing in there is mad.
What do you mean?
Like the.
Let's hear that.
So Sean got the cylinder head off of this thing, and you can see right here that kind of metal on metal contact right there, and then this is actually the lifter that came out of it right there. So you can see how
It rotated.
this one on the left is kind of squared off, and then that one is kind of rounded off. This guy right there. So it basically turned sideways in there and was just kind of rotating on itself. But the crazy thing is the camshaft actually doesn't look terrible. Like with a lifter being like that, I mean, you would really think that it would have caused some damage.
Yeah.
But it's not as bad as I would have really expected. But you could also see where these things broke, right? So the lifter trays have these little kind of catches right there.
They broke and then they started flopping around.
Yeah. And then that allowed the lifter to turn sideways. They have these plastic cages right there. So you can see right there, that was kind of what happened, allowed it to turn whatever sort of issue it is. But yeah, you could even see like right here on the.
I can't believe it happened on all four cylinders.
Yeah, and it was missing like that
these
for a
guys
long
came
time.
apart.
And
That's how they're supposed to look.
mm-hmm.
One unit. Those are not one unit.
So yeah, and I mean, now the big question is how do we repair this thing? You know, is it
Broke, you know?
like why we're here,
Pile some lifters in there and send it.
or do we do? I mean, I'd say we should probably pull that cam out and take a look at it. You know,
Yeah, probably that's the right thing.
and then like the right thing to do would probably be like pull this thing out, put it on the
with our
engine
truck?
stand.
Slap a lifter in there. Call it
Maybe,
a
but like this is also a lot of work to get to this point. It's a lot of work to fix it, but it's also, you know, pull this thing out, pull this cylinder head off, do fresh head gaskets. Because also, we're at that point too. Like if this side did it, because this truck has 270,000 miles on it, it got hot plenty of times. Maybe this stuff is brittle now, but it would be good while we're here to do new camshaft, new lifter trays, have this stuff, have the head checked and all that other stuff, and then put it all back together, and it would probably be good.
Cylinder walls look brand new.
Yeah, the cylinder walls. I mean, the cross hatching in it is really good. Look at that.
It's like we just put it together.
Like, seriously, like, that is nice. Like, these trucks are, I mean, and you could, the crazy thing is you could see the spray pattern of the injector on the top of the piston,
That
too.
one especially.
So, yeah, you can see where it was spraying. I mean,
You can see some bird poo, too. Look at that.
It was probably pissed because it wasn't combusting. It was just shooting a bunch of raw fuel in there. Yeah. Yeah, so it was barely getting any air. But, yeah, I don't know.
Look how much wider that spray pattern is in that one than this one, though. See how it's, like, out on the lip?
Yeah, that is interesting.
That one's down in the bowl.
So maybe some injectors are doing some weird stuff too. Maybe it had like a, honestly, I don't know. I was going to say maybe it had a weird injector, kind of gave it a weird thump, and then it, vibrated some stuff.
The plastic tray is breaking because they're brittle. Is definitely the, I'd say that's the chicken that happened before the egg,
Yeah. But then, look at this truck without the stripes on it. So it was Sean's idea to actually pull them off, and I disagreed for a little bit, and then now that it's all off, it does look a lot cleaner.
It needs that bug guard removed. It needs those window trim things taken off.
I actually kind of like these.
Debadged.
Guess what I ordered.
Paint matched handles.
Guess what I ordered.
Yours.
Yep.
I need some for my unit too.
So I ordered these. Need to pull the camper thing out of here. They have a set of paint match white door handles on eBay, but I feel like they're gonna. Yeah, they're like $100, but I feel like they're not gonna be quality. Like, these handles are strong.
Until somebody comes along with a fucking screwdriver.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. But that's paint match white handles already. We're gonna pull this thing off, pull this off,
I might borrow that bumper from
and then I have a new grill for it. All right, right here is the engine. This is a core engine that I actually bought pretty cheap a little while ago, and it's missing an injector. Nice little injector hole, just hanging out right there. So something definitely, you said it rotates and then it stops, right? But you didn't know if it was the transmission or you didn't know if it was the engine.
I feel like it's the engine. We can try it out.
I mean, there definitely could be a rod hanging in here somewhere, but either way, there's not a rod hanging out of the block. Well, look at this. It has an X right there. There's an X marks the spot. So what does that mean? Oh, no. This was when we were testing the motor mount. Oh, yes, that doesn't matter. But we're going to pull this thing apart for this guy because we're going to see if this has a good camshaft in it. And then maybe we could just use this thing as the parts guy, take it all apart, then take that one apart and take the two motors and put one good one and then put that thing back together. And then since we won't have a ton of money in it, not like rebuilding the whole engine or whatever, then we should be able to sell it cheap, which means that we'd sell it quick, but somebody would also get a nice unit. Sean kind of wants to buy it from me, but he needs to sell his truck and some other things. But I mean, this would be a cool truck. 270,000 miles. I feel like the high mileage ones are like the good ones, minus what just happened to this one. So yeah, Eric's gonna get this thing pulled apart. She's locked, huh? What if it's not locked? Go the other way. Well, and you're using a little bar. Oh yeah. Oh, look at that. She spins nice.
That's the opposite. It stops.
Come on, put your back into it. Oh, it's good. Look at it. Has it made it all the way around yet? Oh, okay.
That's the stopping point.
Okay, so there could be a rod hanging out of it. Or there could be a wrist pin or something going on in it. But still, depending on whatever is going on in there, we still might have a good camshaft. We still might have, good cylinder heads, all that other stuff too. And then hopefully we have good rocker assembly on the top. So hopefully we have good rocker assembly on the top, which would also be nice. This also is good because it means we have a wiring harness, because I have a truck outside that has a burnt engine. You know the one, right? You know the one I'm talking about. The party bus. So we have the party bus, which needs everything that's on the top of this engine. So that's kind of a good option too. So yeah, I guess Eric, have fun, buddy. No, actually, I might help you out, or I'll laugh at you. All right, so Eric got the valve cover off of this side, and the same thing, same exact thing happened to the other one. Look at that. I wonder if she twisted. It's not good. Oh, what is this? There's leaves in there. Did you put the leaves in there? Oh my goodness. Yeah, it was outside. Well, it was outside way before we got it too.
Oh, I got macaroni.
Oh, I wonder if there's a mouse in there. I wonder if that's what you were compressing. You were compressing the mouse. Well, this ain't good. This was supposed to be our parts motor, and now here we are.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
All right. Well, I guess we're gonna pull the you're gonna pull the cylinder head off, and then we're gonna take a look at it, and we're gonna see how happy of a guy. I think we'll pull the rocker assemblies off. So you gotta pull these off first. Pull all the push rods out of it, and then we'll go from there. All right. So we're also testing. So Eric got this engine apart, got the cylinder heads off it. This side was good with all the rockers and all the other stuff, but unfortunately, looking down in this hole over here, this cylinder had the injector missing out of it, but on this part of the camshaft, which one was it? It wore a groove in it. So we were kind of looking to this motor to see if we could pull the camshaft out of it and then stick it in the other one, but this one seemed to have the same issue, and then the lifter turned sideways and just kind of wore a groove into the camshaft. So this engine is no good to us right now, other than just a good core to rebuild in the future. It is kind of stopping as you rotate it around. It like goes to a certain point and then goes dink. So I'm assuming there's something bad inside of it. But again, I just picked this up as a cheap core a while back. So we were actually testing out the engine mount bracket that we worked with True Focus on. And so it's bolted to this side of the engine right now. We're going to test fit it on the other side. This is basically V1. We prototyped a couple things with the 3D printer. So this is actually the fully welded version. So it looks pretty good on there. We're going to go ahead and test it on the other side. Sean went ahead and pulled this engine out because I think it needs a camshaft for sure. So we'll probably end up putting it on the engine stand. I think we actually need another one, right?
We
need another engine stand, so that way we could bolt these things on. But yeah, I'm going to test fit that thing on the other side of the motor. Can you go ahead and pull this valve cover off, and we'll see how that looks, and then go from there. And then we're just going to figure out which one of these units is going to save the other one. All right, so test fitting it on this side of the engine. Everything looks really good. Just there's one little tab right there on the bottom. Very bottom right there, we had to grind a little thing off. So I'll just tell the guys over True Focus, and we should be good for a production run of these things. I think we're gonna do 10 of these things to start off with. So if you guys are interested in one of these things, we'll probably just do 10 of them to start with and go from there. So if you guys want one, motionoutperformance.com will have the link in the description, but we're gonna get this thing mounted up on the engine stand. Right now, not this one. I think we're gonna go ahead and put that engine on one and go from there. And then just to confirm, went ahead and put it on the passenger's, driver's side of a 6.0 Powerstroke. It won't fit on the other side because it actually interferes with one of the 6.7 holes. So 6.0 Powerstroke or 6.4 Powerstroke should fit just fine on the driver's side of the motor, which is pretty cool. And again, this just uses one of them Harbor Freight engine stands. So yeah, these things should be good to go. I think we're gonna do a run. So if you wanna get in on the pre-order, motionoutperformance.com. So we went ahead and pulled the engine out of the 2014, got it sitting on the ground and getting ready to stick it on the engine mount. Got it bolted to the engine stand. And like I said, if you guys are interested in these engine stands, we're gonna do a pre-order for 10 of them. They should ship within like 2 weeks or so. But if you want to stick your 6-liter, 6.4, or 6.7 Powerstroke on one of these new Harbor Freight Daytona 1,500-pound engine stands, this is the way to do it. But link will be in the description. But let's get this thing tore down. All right, so it's been about 2 days, and we have a gasket kit. We got the engine tore down, right?
We're waiting for the gasket kit. Not 2 days because of me. 2 days because we're waiting for that.
Well, this was already here. So this is the engine. We also got a brand new camshaft from the dealer today.
Oh, I was supposed to put that in, huh?
Well, you're supposed to take a video of it, but it's if you guys could see, there's a brand new Ford OEM camshaft. I can't even see it in there.
Here, let me help you out here.
You can't. Oh, look at that. So we got brand new camshaft in that. We got the lifters. These are the lifters out of the what?
2017, the white one.
The 2017 motor, the twin turbo one. So that engine is going to get brand new lifters. This one is getting a 120,000 mile set of basically new, but it's got OEM Ford camshaft, which is beautiful, right?
It does have that.
We got brand new lifter trays. So because these they kind of break.
Plastic doesn't belong in an engine, fellas, but they still put it.
They do it. Well, it lasted 270,000 miles, so it'll probably last at least another 200. So I think this thing's got a lot of life left in it. In cylinder walls, everything else looks really good. Cylinder heads look good. Everything's just a little bit dirty, but we're not gonna like turn this thing into a pristine like show truck engine because it's not a show truck.
So you just leave it greasy.
Leave it a little greasy, make sure all the surfaces are clean, and we'll stick her back together. We got a gasket kit today. So this is actually a Felpro kit. Tried to like go to O'Reilly's, all the other stuff, couldn't find any of that. So good old Rock Auto came through. 1 day shipping, it was only $20, but we have both head gaskets. We have a left and a right. We have oil pan gasket. I mean, pretty much everything. You have the front cover, the rear cover, front main, rear main, vacuum pump seal, coolant things, tons of O-rings all over, and pretty much a complete gasket kit. The only thing it's missing is like the fuel rails. Technically, that's something that people replace when they do these things, but I don't think we'll have any issues with that. So yeah, that's it. Gasket kit, and the engine is ready to go back together. Obviously, cleaning things up and going from there. But yeah, as soon as cylinder heads and everything are back on, and kind of start assembling from there. New turbo gaskets, just all this stuff. So I'm excited to see this thing back together. All right, so Sean got the cylinder heads on this thing the other day. Eric got here this morning and started installing all the rocker arms. So we actually went ahead and used the rocker arms from the 2017 engine because they're more of an upgraded style. So you can see right here how that has that little kind of, looks like a wave or like a little thing. And that keeps the rocker a little bit more in position right here and doesn't allow it to deviate from the program as much. So anyhow, getting these things torqued down right now. They're kind of a weird process. You kind of have to put it in a different orientation up here with the crank pulley. Basically, you have to go to like 155 degrees to relax, the rocker arms on the passenger side, and then you could actually torque it so that way you're not, there's not a bunch of tension on it. So it's also in inch-pounds too. A couple months ago, I got this snap-on tech angle. So we actually have a digital torque wrench, which is pretty nice now. Really been enjoying that thing. And yeah, the engine is coming back together. I decided to go ahead and swap out the CP4 pump. This one does have higher miles on it, or I'm assuming has 270,000 on the chassis. And then this is the CP4 out of the compound turbo truck. But since we are going to go ahead and install the S&S fueled, the DCR pump on that motor, we have that fuel pump, which, has 126,000 miles on it, which is, I'm assuming a lot less than this fuel pump that's in here right now. So we're going to go ahead and swap that out, get everything torqued down, get the rocker boxes or the intake manifold gasket on technically, get all that on, continue assembling the engine in order to get it all ready to put over here in this truck. So I was having a really hard time deciding on whether we were going to part this thing out or if we were just going to keep it together and kind of sell it as a complete truck. And I think we have a lot of other stuff to part out right now. We have a lot of parts that aren't listed and a lot of things laying around the shop. And to part this truck out on eBay, instead of doing like a local part out, it's just a lot of really, really big parts that I think I would rather sell locally. And I think if I'm going to sell them locally, I would probably just rather like to just sell it as kind of a lump sum and move it all at once versus, trying to part it out all separate. Also, I like these trucks. It's really hard for me to want to like tear apart a good truck, especially one like that. It's, 2014. It's super sick. It's really clean. And, especially doing these little upgrades and stuff with it. It's got basically completely resealed engine, brand new OEM camshaft. We got the upgraded rockers on it. Have a newer DCR pump on it. The turbo and everything looks like it's in good shape. So, I mean, I think really we are kind of bringing this truck back from the dead, and he was going to part it out too. He had a lot of offers on parts, and, you know, I mean, maybe financially it might make a little bit more sense to part it out, but sometimes it's just hard for me to do that. So Eric's going to continue assembling this engine today, and I got some other stuff I'm working on the other side of the shop. Oh, another thing that sucks is on this radiator, it actually, you can tell, needs a radiator. So O'Reilly's has one in stock, so I'll probably just pick that up. But it sucks to continue to spend, especially with some of the other things, you know, like with the engine, it's not too big of a deal, the 2017, because we might as well get brand new rockers, brand new lifters, brand new everything else. But it is cool to like trade those lower miles parts to save this truck, but then also be able to upgrade, you know, the high performance engine when we go to do that. So right here on this side of the shop, Aaron, how you doing today?
Well, how are you doing?
And he's shipping some stuff. We sold some seat belts for the Evo, so he's getting some boxes all set up. This is kind of the eBay station. We've kind of modified it multiple times, changed it a bunch of times, but we got some boxes from Uline. We got some of the boxes up in this area. We went ahead and added this little section right here. And as you can see, we have the lights right there for the photos, but this is gonna be kind of where we clean the stuff, weigh it, measure it, get it all ready. And what I'm gonna be working on this side of the shop a little bit today is actually clearing off this shelf and getting this ready to be, getting it ready to have all of the parts that we're gonna list. So as of right now, we've kind of just thrown all the parts right here, and then he grabs them and then lists them right here. But I think the goal is we're just trying to get a little bit more efficient with the processes, and, you know, talking to other people who've done eBay and looking at people that have done eBay, trying to just get a good section of parts that can easily be listed and cleaned all at once. Well, let's say organized, cleaned, put in a listing pile, so that way Aaron could just come right here, take you know, bulk pictures, bulk weights, measurements, and then basically put it all in the notes on his phone, and then sit down, notes on his phone or notes in a you know, an actual notepad, and then go and like bulk list everything. And he doesn't necessarily have to be here at the shop to do that as well. So really trying to do the, you know, make it a little bit more efficient. We have been doing some reasonable sales on eBay, even considering that we only have like 240 listings. But I also have just a bunch of stuff laying around, you know, like I have 2J parts and Civic parts and just stuff all over from everything. So there's a lot of things that, you know, this, oh my goodness. Actually, I could just open that opener today. But like this whole box right here, like this is a Snow Performance water methanol kit that's like been with me for the last, you know, 10 years from the other shop that I got with a car. And it's like, there's, you know, this gauge, somebody probably needs that gauge, list it for, you know, 50 bucks, whatever, list it. Same thing with this pile of parts. This is a pile of B series Honda Civic parts. So we have AC compressor, we have a turbo manifold, we have CV axles, and I just have so many personal parts that are not doing me any good that we could basically just put in a pile, have Aaron list them. And so again, before we start really trying to part out other stuff, I would just like to get some more of the stuff that I personally have laying around listed. Like right here, we have this 2J box, you know, 2JZ wiring harnesses, and another 2JZ wiring harness box. Then we have some F250 parts, and up here we have a bunch of RB25 Neo stuff. So we have an OEM ECU, we have an OEM wiring harness, OEM turbo, OEM intake manifold, a bunch of stuff that I'm just not going to use, but could definitely be valuable to somebody who wants to use that stuff. So if it's sitting around, we might as well organize it and get it listed is kind of my mentality. And so yeah, that's it. So I'm gonna kind of pick away at some of this stuff, clean up this shelf for Aaron, listing and labeling some more of this Honda Civic stuff, so that way we can kind of clear out this aisle right here. So that way if cars need to go in and out and up and down, whatever, that's it. And I have been actually kind of parting out stuff for a long time. So you can see right here, there's a 370Z box. And so actually at the other shop, right when I was building my S14, I bought a wrecked 370Z, and I ended up parting out a lot of the stuff on like a local, not a local, but a 370Z forum. And I always referred to that Z as like my little money tree, because it was like, you know, once or twice a week I was selling, you know, $200-300 worth of parts off of it for a while. And you know, I wish I would have got more into it back then, but you know, we didn't really have the space. And now that we're actually kind of at an official junkyard, you know, maybe we'll you know, I mean, obviously we are continuing down that road. We also have these shelves right here, so we have the top that is all available, that we could use all of this stuff for listed items. And I think the plan is to move some of like the engines and transmissions and stuff and put them over here, you know, keep them inside and keep them nice. So that's one of the things that yeah, this is what we're working on. So I guess follow along. All right, so the jigsaw puzzle continues, but we are kind of seeing the light at the end of the tunnel here. So, man, there's just been so many pieces of it that's just been not necessarily missing, but we just had to go find it.
All of it.
Pretty much everything of it. Like all of the bolts, all of the things, the wires, the connectors, the hoses. I mean, everything off of this thing was pretty much completely off it. I mean, the fuel rails were already off of it. I mean, CP, like everything was just off, and it was in bins and it was in totes. And it was in like just baggies, just like this. And we ended up using a lot of stuff from the other engines. This piece, the little crankcase vent was broken, so we got a new one of those. Got all the fuel lines and everything hooked up. Just a lot of stuff that went to get this thing back together. But it's like a crazy adult's version of a jigsaw puzzle, but it's kind of like a mechanics puzzle. But like if we'd never done one of these things before, it would have been tough to like try to piece this thing back together. But it's nice having like other trucks on the property to like reference and stuff like that. But yeah, we're just putting the lower radiator hose on right now, replacing some of the O-rings in the cooling system. And other than that, it is really, really close. See, we got the whole EGR system back on it. We got the exhaust on, all that stuff's all tightened down. So we're pretty much leaving this thing all stock, just, you know, just leave it stock because it was working and, you know, all that. So factory turbo and everything's back on it. I just hope this thing doesn't leak or do anything stupid. But yeah, it's been definitely a challenge, but it's moving right along. So we're just gonna continue and set the cab back on it here, hopefully before the end of the day. All right, boys, it is the next day and we are connecting some more stuff. Eric got here this morning, got the radiator, coolers, all that stuff in. We just put the first battery in it just to see, and you can see we got some light right there on the dash, and we're getting ready to start it for the first time. So, you know, these clips, we were missing a couple clips and, you know, little bolts and all that other stuff, but we did have some other, you know, parts, trucks, whatever here. We're going to go ahead and just try to start this thing without hooking up, you know, any of the air stuff or any of the coolant for now, because obviously, I know some people like freak out about starting something without coolant. But like, I feel like you could run one of these engines for like 5 minutes without coolant in it, you know, and not really hurt anything unless you're like ripping it or, you know, like revving it and being crazy and letting it get really hot. Just people in the drag racing world, you know, they literally run their car down the strip with no coolant in it and it's fine. They just shut it off. They don't run it that long. So yeah, letting this thing idle for, you know, maybe a minute or two without coolant in it shouldn't be an issue. We just want to make sure that it runs smooth. Just in case we do have an issue, that way, if we need to pull it apart, we're not having to re-drain the coolant, redo all of the systems and everything. So Eric is down underneath it right now. He's putting in the shifter cable. So put it in park or neutral or whatever, probably just put it in park, and that way we'll be able to start this thing up. So we need to throw the other battery in it on this side, and then the key's already in it. We do need one of these mirrors. But yeah, other than that, we might be able to start it here in a minute. Oh my goodness. All right. Are you ready, Eric? What does it say in there?
Yeah.
What does it say? Here, get your leg. Close it in there. I gotta see this. All right, key on. See what it does. How many miles? How many miles? How many?
Too many.
Oh my goodness. All right, key it off and then back on. So since this is a fresh fuel system, it shows it's in first gear right now. That's not good.
I went the opposite way.
Is it plugged in?
Yeah, I went the wrong way.
So you gotta fix that. because it won't start in first gear. All right, go ahead. Come on, get on out. Get out, pal. Look at this. Look, they were using that door code. Look at that. The buttons are worn off it. This is a nice truck, though. I'm gonna sit in it. I'm gonna sit in it, Eric. The seat's not terrible. Has a little tear down there, but
Nice cushion.
I mean, we could throw another one on it. I mean, this is a freaking nice truck. It's leaking fuel. We got it back into park. But it's leaking fuel. Oh, go key it on. Let's see what it does. Let's see what she's doing. Oh my goodness, there it is. Dang it. So I think that's just the return line. So I think we're just gonna start it, okay? Okay. Huh. There's a bunch of rust in there. That was smooth. Not bad. All right, boys, she is outside for the first time. Replaced the injector O-rings on this side, and then actually went ahead and put a new fuel rail return hose. Bled the cooling system and everything looks good. I went ahead and make sure this section closes. So went ahead, bled the cooling system, and double checked all that stuff. So I think now we should be good. I went ahead and I reset the service modules, the tranny, PCM, all that other stuff, because it did have a cylinder 4 contribution. And so I'm assuming, not confirmed, but I'm just assuming it does some different fuel, like learned values on there when there is a situation like that. So I went ahead, just reset everything. Shows an advanced track light right now, and then TPMS. But other than that, no other codes, no PCM codes, which is good. So we're gonna go ahead and take this thing for its first drive and see how it's doing. All right, so brake light, I think maybe a brake fluid level sensor, traction control stuff, that could be because of that, maybe an ABS sensor or something like that. But yeah, she's driving really good. So when I first, I've driven it up and down the road a couple times, and there was a little bit of like white smoke that came out of the exhaust, but I think that was pretty much just due to the fact that there was so much condensation from this thing sitting around. But yeah, driving it, I mean, transmission shift's really good, heater's working, heated seats are working. These trucks, the 11 to 14s with their kind of smaller compressor wheel, the turbos pretty much spool up right away, so they feel really, really torquey down low, kind of similar to just a big V8, which it is a big V8. Typically, these things rely a lot on boost in order to move. And like a 6 liter, that thing freaking barely move out of its own way without any boost. But this thing, it feels like it's in boost right away, and it feels really solid. But yeah, transmission, everything's feeling really good. 268,000 miles, but I think we addressed all of the issues this thing's pretty much going to have for the next 200 or so plus thousand. So this thing should be good. We did the lower mile CP4, we did the rocker arms, we did the rockers, the brand new OEM Ford camshaft. We did new coolant flush, all the stuff. So I think it should be good. Feels solid. And it's, again, it's 100% stock. No tune. And I mean, we cracked 80 like nothing. So these trucks are, just a 6.7 is so smooth and quiet compared to a 6.0. Well, look at that. It says cleaning exhaust filter. So we're in regen right now. So maybe it was happy about that. So it's kind of, I don't know. I haven't really been around one of these things for a while. Why they regen and do the thing. Look at Eric driving his little hot rod home. So, but I guess we'll just drive around a little bit more and see how she goes. All right, boys. Well, here is the finished product. We got it all cleaned up, fender liners and everything in. Charged the AC on it today. Cleaned up the engine bay. Got a bunch of stuff all buttoned up. Made sure cooling systems were all bled, fuel system, all that other stuff. The brake master cylinder didn't have the plug plugged into it. So other than that, plugged that in. All the ABS, traction control lights and everything just went off. So runs and drives really, really good. Super, super quiet, super smooth. I mean, it's just, overall, it's a freaking really, really nice truck. Even though the miles and everything. But yeah, I went ahead and got it listed. So this one is look at that. Just fires right up. The only thing it has, TPMS, and it just shows low tire pressure, which maybe it needs a little bit more pressure in the rear tires. I aired up the fronts a little bit earlier, but yeah, overall this thing is super freaking clean. Really nice truck. You can tell they never even really put anything in the bed of it. So vacuumed it out, got the rear seats and everything, bolted all down, putting that little lower console in it, made sure that the spare tire, all that stuff, like the jack and all the tools are in it. It's got heated rear seats. Look at that. Pretty cool. So really reminds me of my 2016. They're pretty much the same other than having a slight difference in the turbo. These seats are kind of weird. They look like they like shrunk up a little bit, and I don't know if that's from just being like a black truck with no window tint. Maybe it like kind of brought them together or something like that, but really, really, really nice truck. So I priced it pretty fair, I feel like, for the market. Even though it has a couple little hail dents and then that little dent right there in the door, but brand new tires. I mean, it's a nice unit. So that is, I guess, the job completing this whole truck. Replaced camshaft lifters, the whole rocker assembly, just a bunch of different things with it. So now it's pretty much good to go. I mean, it could use a polish. We might end up doing that, but I'm gonna go ahead and drive it home tonight and make sure everything is solid with it. And I think I have some guy who wants to maybe come take a look at it tomorrow. So yeah, been just working on trucks, getting a lot of things done around here, but appreciate you guys watching this video. Let me know what you guys think of this whole process of putting back together this giant puzzle piece. It's pretty cool to see it all back together and running so good, and just how smooth and quiet everything is. So no lights, no nothing. So it's good to go. But yeah, really makes me kind of wish I had a 6.7 as another, you know, as like the shop truck, but I think the 6.0 is, been having a blast with it. And then we are planning on pulling in the compound turbo, the 2017 F350, and actually getting that thing together here within probably the next week or so too. So appreciate you guys watching this video. Stay tuned. See you later.